prayer according to the kingdom constitution. Have you ever spent hours in the prayer room, shedding tears, crying out, groaning, and then nothing happened? I know you've been there. Many have come to me and said, Pastor Munroe, I've prayed, I've fasted, I've wept, but nothing has changed. I was no, and I had to tell them with all the love and seriousness in me, maybe you're praying with the wrong pattern. Maybe your prayer isn't legal. I was no, prayer is not a religious ritual. Prayer is not a church ceremony. Prayer is not pouring out emotions to God. Prayer, according to Jesus Christ and according to the entire kingdom system, is a legal act. Prayer is the lawful action a kingdom citizen takes to legally allow heaven to intervene in the territory of earth. Let me make this clear. Prayer doesn't originate from humans. Prayer is an invention of the heavenly government. It's the system established to keep heaven and earth aligned. That's why, if you don't understand the law, you'll be frustrated with prayer. Where's the problem? The problem is that we've learned to pray from religion, not from the kingdom. Religion teaches you to beg. Religion teaches you to repeat. Religion teaches you to use lofty, lengthy, vulgar, emotional language. But the kingdom is different. In the kingdom, prayer is submission. It's like writing a legal petition based on what's written in the Constitution. When a citizen submits a petition, they don't beg, they exercise their rights. What does the Bible say? Look at John 15:7. If you abide in me, and my words abide in you, ask whatever you wish, and it will be done for you. Notice the order here. First, abide in me, a relationship with the government. Then, my words abide in you. The Constitution is in you. Only then can you ask whatever you wish. You cannot ask for things outside the Constitution. You cannot request what hasn't been authorized. You cannot act in the king's name to do something against his will. You see, the power in prayer isn't in emotions, it's in legality. What does the Bible say further? Look at 1 John 5:14-15. If we ask anything according to his will, he hears us. And if he hears us, we know we have what we ask for. See that? The condition isn't pray loudly, pray long, or pray with tears. The condition is according to his will. In other words, according to the Constitution. If you pray something contrary to his will, no matter how much you beat the ground, God won't respond. I know that's hard to hear, but let me make it clearer. God is not obligated to answer your prayer if it doesn't align with his word. He's not responsible for your creations. He's only responsible for what he has promised. So when you pray, ask yourself, am I talking to God like a beggar, like a kingdom citizen? Am I submitting a petitioner, expressing emotions? Am I standing on his word or demanding my own desires? Because in the kingdom, there's no such thing as random prayer, only legal prayer. Declare, I don't pray like a victim. I pray like a citizen. I don't repeat others' words. I submit petitions based on the Constitution. I don't beg for mercy. I request intervention based on kingdom authority. And that's just the first part, dear friend. Because if prayer is a legal act, then what is the Bible? You cannot pray effectively if you don't know the laws governing the kingdom you live in. We've just discovered that prayer isn't a religious ritual. It's a legal act in the kingdom system. But for a legal act to be valid, it must be grounded in a supreme document. And in the kingdom of heaven, that document is the Constitution. So let me ask you, have you ever opened the Bible like a law student? Or are you still opening the Bible like a morning devotional book? The Bible is not a religious book. Religion turns the Bible into a moral teaching book. Religion turns the Bible into an emotional patchwork, seasonal document. But you need to know this. In the kingdom, the Bible is the Constitution. It's not just promises, it's law. It's not just inspiration, it's the operating system. It's not just encouragement, it's the legal foundation binding the heavenly government. You cannot demand anything from the king if it's not written in the Constitution. Psalm 119, 89. Your word, Lord, is eternal. It stands firm in the heavens. John 15:7. If my words abide in you. God is not bound by your prayers. He's bound by his own word. If you want God to respond, speak back what he has written. If you want your prayer to have authority, read the laws the king has issued. If you want heaven to intervene, submit prayers aligned with what's established. No government responds to a petition without legal grounding. See the Bible as a spiritual constitution. The Bible contains articles, laws, commandments, decrees, privileges, blessings, citizenship rights, benefits, sanctions, consequences for breaking the law, conditions for enforcement, blessings for obedience, penalties for disobedience, appeals, provisions, petitions, atonement, reconciliation. No king writes laws and allows citizens to bypass them because of emotions. Jesus defeated Satan not with emotions, but with it is written. When the devil tempted him, he didn't shout, dance, or tremble. He declared 3 times, it is written. According to the Constitution, and the devil retreated, not because Jesus prayed loudly, but because he knew the law. Kingdom mindset. Imagine you're a lawyer in court. You can't say, I feel offended. I believe I deserve more. I hope justice will come. No. You must say, Your Honor, according to Section 42 of the amended Criminal Code of 1995, my client is entitled to, see that? Authority comes from knowing and correctly applying the law. And you live in a kingdom where God isn't moved by emotions, he responds to his word. I remind you, you cannot demand what hasn't been promised. You cannot proclaim what hasn't been written. You cannot exercise citizenship rights if you don't know your rights. And your citizen rights are written in the Constitution. Declare, I won't read the Bible like a traditional believer. I'll study it like a kingdom citizen. I'm not looking for inspirational verses. I'm seeking legal articles. I'll pray based on what's been enacted, not what I hope for. Now that you understand what the Bible, ISAN, unshakable constitution, we'll move on to the prayer template given by the King himself. In the next part, we'll dive into Matthew 6, not as a children's lesson, but as the legal petition template Jesus, the ultimate heavenly ambassador, left for us citizens. Don't miss it, because if you don't learn how to file the petition correctly, you'll keep praying without ever receiving. Jesus didn't just teach you to pray. He gave you a template, a legal form to submit properly in the kingdom. And we've established that prayer is a legal act. And you cannot perform that act without the governing document, without legal grounding, without the correct format. That's why when the disciples came to Jesus and said, Lord, teach us to pray, he didn't give a long lecture or tell them to pray from their emotions. He said, pray like this. And he provided a complete template fully equipped with the legal components needed for a kingdom submission. The kingdom's legal prayer template, Matthew 6-9-13. I want you to see this prayer not as a children's lesson, but as a legal tool, like an official administrative form from heaven. Our Father in heaven, hallowed be your name. Your kingdom come. Your will be done. Give us today our daily bread. Forgive us our debts, as we forgive our debtors. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil, depending on the translation. For yours is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever. All the decoding from the kingdom constitution perspective. Our Father in heaven, recognizing the proper authority. This is a legal address. You're not praying to a priest, a friend, or a philosopher. You're addressing the supreme king, the ultimate government. Hallowed be your name, affirming the inviolable status of the government. Hallowing the name confirms that the government's authority is absolute. You're declaring, no one has higher authority than my Father. Every petition is submitted under this authority. Your kingdom come. Your will be done, stating the national objective. This is the statement of purpose for the petition. You're not praying for your personal desires to be fulfilled. You're petitioning for the kingdom's policies to be enforced in the territory you live in. Your will be done means kingdom law must be implemented here. Ideally, give us today our daily bread, requesting citizen privileges. You're not asking as a beggar. You're requesting based on your citizenship rights written in the Constitution. The king is responsible for providing for his people. Give us today isn't asking permission. It's a legally grounded request. Forgive us as we forgive others, complying with citizen law conditions. No nation allows citizens to demand rights while breaking laws. The kingdom has no place for those who refuse to forgive. Forgiveness is a prerequisite for your petition not to be rejected. Lead us not into temptation. Deliver us from evil. Calling for government protection. This is about defending national borders. You're requesting the commander-in-chief of heaven's armies to protect you from attacks by invading forces. For yours is the kingdom, the power, and the glory. Legal closing declaration. Every valid petition must have a confirmation seal and signed. I acknowledge that all authority belongs to the government, and I submit this petition to serve the interests of the heavenly kingdom. Fallen. How do you see it? The prayer template Jesus taught isn't random. It has a legal structure, governmental priority order, constitutional grounding, citizen language, national objectives, a clear legal closing declaration. This is kingdom prayer, not church prayer. The difference: religion prays to feel better. Kingdom prays to enforce what's right. Religion prays to be noticed by others. Kingdom prays to activate heaven's government. Religion prays to survive. Kingdom prays to rule, declare. I don't read Matthew 6 as a children's lesson. I read it as a citizen's form. I don't add or subtract. Fill it out correctly. Sign it properly and submit it rightly. I don't pray like a religious person. I submit like an authorized ambassador. But for your petition to be accepted, you must know who you are. Are you a legal citizen? Do you have the right to file a petition? Do you have the basis to say to the government, you demand? In the next part, we'll dive into one of the greatest realities religion doesn't teach. Kingdom citizens have the legal right to demand what's within the Constitution. We'll open our eyes to see. Kingdom prayer isn't just about the right template, it's about the right identity. You cannot demand anything from heaven if it's not written in the Constitution. We've learned that prayer is a legal actan. Matthew 6 is the standard template issued by the king. But now I want to take you deeper to the crux that determines the validity of your prayer. Are you a legal citizen? Do you know your citizenship rights? And do you dare to demand but within the limits of the Constitution? An unchanging kingdom principle. Power in the kingdom doesn't lie in volume or repetition. It lies in legal standing and alignment with kingdom law. You cannot pray correctly if you don't live correctly. You cannot demand as a citizen if you live like a spiritual wanderer. Hear the king's own words. John 15:7. If you abide in me and my words abide in you, ask whatever you wish and it will be done for you. Notice the three elements. Abide in me, proper relationship with the king. My words abide in you, legal grounding in place. Ask whatever you wish, right? To request within the boundaries of the word. See that? Only when you meet the conditions relationship, Constitution, will your requests be approved. Image, a kingdom ambassador. An ambassador doesn't need permission every time they speak if what they say is written in the diplomatic directives. But they also cannot demand what the government hasn't authorized. If they declare something outside the Constitution, they'll be recalled. If they refuse to declare what's been issued, they'll be replaced. So it is with you. As a kingdom citizen and ambassador of the king, you have the right to speak, but not to invent. You're allowed to demand what's promised, but not to create new policies. Golden principle. God is not bound by emotions. He's bound by his word. He's not obligated to answer your desires. He's only obligated to fulfill what he's signed. So, the power to ask doesn't lie in your wants. The power to ask lies in the Constitution given a legal prayer petition must have. Clear identity. I am a child of the king. Romans 8:16. Knowledge of citizen laws. I know what's been promised. 2 Peter 1-4. Alignment with the law. I don't demand beyond what's written. 1 John 5:14. Right motives, not for me, but for the kingdom. Matthew 6:33. You cannot use prayer to force God to serve selfish personal goals. Warning. James 4:3. You ask and do not receive because you ask with wrong motives to spend it on your pleasures. I've seen many say, God didn't hear my prayer. But the truth is, they demanded something illegal. They prayed to get rich, to take revenge, to affirm themselves not to fulfill the king's will. You cannot use the kingdom's name to build your personal empire. Declare, I only demand what God has approved. And I pray not for my own will, but for the kingdom's agenda. And I don't ask without basis. I request legally as a citizen. And And if you've grasped this, that you have the right to make legal demands, then the next part will teach you the ultimate goal of kingdom prayer isn't to make your life more comfortable, but to expand the kingdom on earth. Kingdom prayer always aims for your kingdom come, not make me satisfied. Have you ever thought prayers to make your life better, easier, richer, less painful? If that's why you pray, then you're living like a religious believer, not a kingdom citizen. Dear friend, prayer in the kingdom doesn't aim for personal comfort, it aims for the expansion of the king's dominion. Kingdom prayer doesn't start with, I want. It starts with, your will. Kingdom prayer doesn't focus on solving my problems. It focuses on establishing his rule. Return to Matev Shesh Jeshench. Your kingdom come. Your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. This isn't a poetic verse to recite. It's a political declaration, a national petition. Jesus didn't teach you to pray, make my life peaceful. Give me a high salary. Keep me from pain. He taught you, pray for your kingdom come on Z. This is the essence of kingdom prayer. Not asking, but implementing the meaning of your kingdom come. In the kingdom is rulership. When you say your kingdom come, you're not asking for a spiritual experience. You're inviting God to establish his system of governance in this territory, in your family, in your workplace, in your nation, in your industry, in your very body. You're inviting heaven to establish its base on earth. Isaiah 9-7. Of the increase of his government and peace, there shall be no end upon the throne of David and his kingdom. Prayer is the tool to implement that prophecy. You don't pray for your own peace. You pray for his government to increase. Your mindset must change. Religion teaches prayer is for comfort. Kingdom teaches prayer is for implementing rulership. Religion teaches prayer is to ask God to solve your problems. Kingdom teaches prayer is for God to apply his policies to your situation. See the difference? Religion uses prayer to escape the world. Kingdom uses prayer to transform the world into heaven's likeness. Pray to expand the kingdom's territory. Dr. Munroe once said, God doesn't want you to go to heaven. He wants heaven to come to where you live. If your prayer doesn't make the territory you live in more like heaven, then it's missing the kingdom's target. Jesus said, the kingdom doesn't come in a way observable. The kingdom of God is within you. Prayer is the tool to activate that outwardly. Practical application. When you pray, don't just pray, heal my sickness. Pray. Let the kingdom's healing touch this body so I can continue fulfilling your will. I.e., don't just pray, give me a promotion, pray. Place me in a higher position to expand kingdom influence in this organization. Don't just pray, make me happy, pray. Let my family become a kingdom model that amazes my neighbors. I'm 7. See that? The kingdom's goal isn't an easy life. It's true rulership. Declare, I don't pray to escape, I pray to conquer. I don't pray to survive, I pray to expand the kingdom. I don't pray for heaven to take me, I pray for heaven to touch earth through me. And you know what? All of this, the legal act, the correct submission template, grounding in the Constitution, the goal of expanding the kingdom must come with the most important thing. You must have identity. You must know who you are. You must live like an official ambassador. In the final part, we'll look at prayer as a diplomatic privilege where you, a kingdom citizen, can activate heaven's power in any situation. Because you're not just saved, you're authorized. Get ready. The next part will establish your kingdom identity in your prayer room. As an ambassador signing decrees for your nation, stop praying like a refugee. Start praying like an authorized ambassador. Dear friend, you've journeyed with me through 5 parts, from redefining prayer as a legal act to understanding the Bible as the Constitution, to exploring the standard kingdom prayer template, to the right to make legal demands, and the ultimate goal, expanding the kingdom. But if you don't understand your true identity, then all this is just knowledge. You know the template, but won't dare submit it. You know the law, but won't dare demand it. You know God's word, but still live like an outcast. So today, I'm here to remind you of this. You're not just saved, you're authorized. You're not just a believer, you're an ambassador. You don't just have privileges, you have responsibilities. 2 Corinthians 5:20, we are ambassadors for Christ. As though God were making his appeal through us. I bet, see that? You're not just a weekly churchgoer. You're not just waiting for God's help. You're someone with kingdom, national identity, representing heaven on earth. And if you're an ambassador, you have diplomatic privileges. You have the right to request funding. You have access to high-level systems. You have the right to veto local strategies if they contradict heaven's directives. Pray in the posture of an ambassador. An ambassador's prayer doesn't start with God, I'm so miserable. It's, Sir, according to the kingdom's strategic objectives, I request reinforcements to fulfill the assigned mission of, you're not begging for scraps, you're accessing the treasury, you're not crying, you're coordinating policy. You're not hoping, you're executing. You're not asking for opinions, you're implementing the king's will. You are authorized. Luke 10:19. I have given you authority to trample on snakes and scorpions and over all the power of the enemy, and nothing will harm you. Sake. John 20:21. As the Father has sent me, so I send you. I send like Jesus, with authority like him, commissioned like him, and heard like him if you pray as a legal citizen. Image, ambassador in the diplomatic room. Imagine you're the UK ambassador in Nigeria. You live in a diplomatic compound. You drive a diplomatic vehicle. You don't spend local currency. You use funds from London. You don't need local permission to act. You just need to stay in contact with the capital. And when you pray, it's like calling the capital. Every kingdom prayer activates policies, resources, and power from the eternal center. That's not emotion. It's diplomacy. It's time to change the tone of your prayer from Lord, if you will, to according to what's written, you submit, from please consider to I stand on the enacted provisions, from I don't know what to do to I execute kingdom directives. An authorized person doesn't tremble. An authorized person doesn't ask permission for what's already granted. An authorized person acts, declare, I don't pray just to live. I pray to lead. I don't pray just to be heard. I pray to execute. I am an ambassador. I am authorized. I am commissioned. And I will pray like one sent. I call you today, my listener. Put aside every religious prayer model. Lay down every powerless ritual. Tear up the meaningless template prayers learned from human culture. And step into the prayer room like a diplomat with the Constitution in hand. The mission in your heart. And heaven's power behind you. From now on, don't pray like a religious person. Pray like a citizen. Pray like the chosen. Pray like an ambassador. Pray like someone who knows who they are. Because the king is waiting for you to act not to be pitied, but to activate his dominion on earth through your very lips. God isn't waiting for you to cry. He's waiting for you to sign. Don't be empty. Don't pray vague. Don't waste your kingdom citizenship. Pray like a true ambassador and let the kingdom come through your life. Amen.